Yo, what is the deal, y'all? What is the deal? Happy Monday. Oh my God, man. Don't it feel so good to come here to talk ball when the Raiders get a win? I mean, my God, I'm fucking late to my own show, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. We got over 100 in the room. Get wasted with your brother, wasted. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this thing out to all social media. But look, man, let me tell y'all something. My dog, Cold-Blooded, is in the place, man. The great and powerful wasted talent to bring us splendiferous Java content, man. But look, man, I'm just super happy. I'm super excited by the fact that we don't have to talk about a loss. You know, we going into the Kansas City game. This is a situation where the Raiders really kind of, turned their season around in a sense, right? Now, I know it's only the Tennessee Titans, and a lot of people will say, yo, man, the Titans are the worst team in football pretty much, right? Besides the Jets. But that isn't the issue. The thing for me is this, yo. It's the fact that we're on a trip to respectability. That's more so what this is about. This is about getting back to respectability. This is not about us going to the Super Bowl. Nobody thought the Raiders were going to go to the Super Bowl this year. Let's be for real, man. Nobody thought that. But what we didn't want is we don't want another dumpster fire, right? And this was looking a little dumpster fire-esque, especially when you lose games that you should win. When you lose games that you should win, that's how it starts to look, yo. You got to start stacking some of these wins. And when you look at the Raiders' record and the people that they got to play, there's not another guaranteed win on the schedule. It really isn't. You know, it's going to be a tough road to hoe, man. It's going to be a tough road to hoe. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. Yesterday, we got to see, Devin White's coming out party. Devin White is a guy that you guys know. I was excited when we got Devin White. I was shocked and amazed at how well he played. I was shocked and amazed at Max Crosby with all the pressure he got, playing at the level he played at. I was also a little dismayed. Right? Because I thought that Ashton Genty would have had more of an effect on the game. I thought that Ashton Genty would have, had a big game. I'm kind of looking for him to have a big game. And I'm gonna be real with you, man. Colt Miller going down has done him no favors. It really has not, man. It has been really a huge issue with this Raider team, man. It's been a huge issue, man. Huge. And it sucks, man, that, we got a situation now where, the Raiders could have been 500 going into Kansas City, with a chance to go in there and put up a real game against Kansas City. But now we have a situation where Kansas City is starting to hit on all cylinders, right? The Raiders are going to have to try to figure it out at left tackle. We're going to get into some of the splits with Stone Forsythe. Stone Forsythe has been horrible. He's been horrible, man. And, that whole left side of that line has been a real problem. It has been a huge problem for the Raiders. And I really don't know how they're going to correct that and get this thing rolling in the right direction. Salute to my guy, Halo Raider, man. Salute to my brother, Halo, man. What's up, man? I mean, look, Two things, man. One, we're going to get into some of the stats, right? We're going to get into some of the stats, right? So we got to start with Geno Smith. He was 17 for 23, 174, one tud, one interception, 2 sacks, 16 pressures, 7.6 yards a throw. And, you know, when you start looking at it from that prism, you can't have the turnovers in a game like that, bro. You can't. But conversely, I'm going to give Geno some grace. You can't put everything on Geno's shoulders. You know, you got to understand something. Geno Smith has always been that kind of a quarterback that had those ebbs and flows. He's always been that kind of a quarterback that had them kind of ebbs and flows, right? The problem with Geno is that if you're expecting him to be more than that, you're going to be disappointed. That's not what you get with a Geno Smith. He is a middle of the road quarterback, man. Middle of the road quarterback. You know, and this is the thing. When does he have that game that justifies him being here? Now, I know it starts up front. What are the Raiders going to do going forward to mitigate some of the pressure that Geno was under? Because I'm going to be honest with you, Geno was pressured a lot. 16 hurries. It's way too much, man. Way too much. I mean, a lot of the times, Geno wasn't even able to hand the damn football off. It's ridiculous yesterday, man. Ridiculous. Now, we had a press conference today. We're going to get into Pete Carroll's presser. You know what I'm saying? We're also going to get into some of these trade rumors. We're going to get into, you know, the trade deadline, some people who are available. We're going to go around the league a little bit. And guys, we're going to have us a little fun up ahead, man. Salute to everybody who's in here. Salute to everybody who's rocking with the best. Wasted talent, man. Oh, my God. You know, yesterday I noticed a few things. I noticed Jack Besh, you know, was out there routing people up, getting separation versus the Titans. And he didn't log a reception, man. Trey Tucker, same thing. Michael Mayer, same thing. I think, you know, part and parcel of the problem that we're having with the Raiders is Geno's not seeing the whole field. Geno's not seeing the whole field, man. I think there was a lot of offense left out on the field yesterday. A lot of offense left out on the field yesterday. Because, listen, at the end of the day, you have a guy like Trey Tucker out there who is now becoming a legitimate number one receiver threat. Now, all of those people who were capping for us to keep Jacoby Myers, bro, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't necessarily think it's a need to not move Jacoby, bro. I think moving Jacoby at this point will be addition by subtraction. Because I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I noticed something from Jacoby Myers, and I brought it up yesterday. I'm going to bring it up again because some of you guys weren't with me yesterday. Jacoby Myers has been one of the best blocking wide receivers in the National Football League. He has been one of the best blocking receivers in the National Football League. This year, and pardon me being a conspiracy theorist, he has not been that. Jacoby Myers has not blocked well. There's a few times where Ashton Jeanty could have got loose, and Jacoby did not do his job. Jacoby did not do his job, man. Oh, man, my eyes. Jacoby did not do his job. And see, to me, it's time to trade him at that point. You know, the thing that makes Jacoby Myers what he is the complete player. The complete player that he has been. That's what makes him what he is, man. If he is not going to be that kind of a player, and I get it. Listen, and yo, Margot, he goes, I'm not blocking either. My money ain't guaranteed. I get it, bro. I understand it, yo. I respect it. But the thing is that you can't have that. You can't have that on the roster, bro. If y'all aren't willing to pay him, get something for him and move him along, bro. Move him along. Yo, my guy Raider Bubba, wasted. Happy Victory Monday. Oh my God. Thank you for the $20 bomb, yo. My guy Hobby Anaya. Would you give up a first for Quentin Williams or Sauce Gardner? No. I'm not giving up a first for anybody, especially when you got a team that doesn't have a young franchise quarterback or somebody that is in line to be that. I'm not trading the first round pick for somebody else's first round pick. And Sauce Gardner has been horrendous this year. It'd be I like for that contract and the way he's been playing and the fact that he don't tackle nobody, bro. You know, I would have a problem giving up a third for Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner has just become a name at this point. And do I see anyone making a move for Jacoby? There's not a lot of stuff that normally happens at the trade deadline, right? So theoretically, does it make sense? Yo, hell yeah, it does. It makes a hell of a lot of sense, right? Then people say, well, you know, maybe him for Reek Woolen, right? But does that really make any sense? Because the one thing the Seahawks don't need is a receiver. You know, the Steelers, maybe, right? But I think it's time to make sure that there is no situation where you have to split snaps between Besh and Jacoby. That's a good problem to have if all those guys are being productive. I think personally the Raiders need to focus on the youth, whether Pete wants to or not. You have to build a foundation of coherent football from the young players that you drafted in this draft class. You have to show these young players what good looks like. You do. You do. You know, Just Raiders, but he said the Steelers might be a trade partner. Word on the street is they're looking for a receiver. I mean, you know, the Steelers are in a situation where they got Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? You got Mike Tomlin that's trying to get to the playoffs and win some games in the playoffs. You got DK Metcalf. You know, I can see that happening. I can see that happening. But the thing is, what compensation you getting back? Right? Because you got to understand something, right? You could be hurting yourself at that point. They're in the AFC just like you. They're in the AFC just like you, right? So then now you have to gauge what that looks like. Like if you get a fourth from Pittsburgh, right? And you get a fifth or you get a fourth from another team, what does that look like with Pittsburgh? Because Pittsburgh is a team that's really in the AFC, as weak as the AFC has been this year. The AFC hasn't been good this year. There's a lot of teams that we thought would be a lot better that are going to start rounding into shape. But you know, that pick might not be something that's as valuable as you think. You know what I'm saying? So look, I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's getting to the point where I think that John Spytek, and this is just me pontificating, right? John Spytek definitely needs to start asserting himself because look, we're in the throes of the season, but from a roster perspective, the Raiders are definitely not the kind of roster that is deep. From a roster perspective, the Raiders are definitely in a situation where some of the incumbent starters are not long-time starters in this league, long-time guys that, you know, have been productive in this league. Some of these guys are fringe starters, right? So John Spytek and Pete Carroll need to start saying a quiet thing out loud and realize that they're building towards next year, man. I'll be honest with you. It's freaking getting to that point, man. I mean, so listen, man, we're gonna go into grades. We're gonna go into what happened yesterday, you know. And bro, look, man, we're gonna go into some of the stuff I've seen around the league too. But the one thing about Geno Smith, man, is this, man, and this is the reason why I think that, you know, Pete Carroll's loyalty, we need to see how far that goes. The Raiders definitely need to be in the business for a quarterback early. I mean, yesterday, what I saw from the way Chip Kelly called that game, they tried to hide Geno Smith. They tried to hide him, bro. And he still threw an interception. Still threw an interception, man. Unbelievable. Now, if the more that things change, the more things stay the same. And the one thing that happened yesterday that I saw this morning is that the Raiders are responsible for yet another Callahan being unemployed. Bill Callahan's son was fired yesterday, man, after the Raider game. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable, bro. But yeah, man, listen, bro. Chip tried to hide Geno. Geno still threw the ball away. So Geno was definitely on pace to throw 30 interceptions, man. And it's a damn shame, bro. Because look, man, you got a lot of times where, in this league, people will be like, well, it wasn't the quarterback's fault. This interception wasn't his fault. The loss wasn't on him. It was on everyone else. But yo, it's bad when you have a quarterback, man, that you can definitely say that, two of these games are squarely on his shoulders, man. Squarely. Yo, my guy Hug in the place, man. Blue blocker wasted in the building. Give it up for Papa Wasted and his stressed out corneas. Yeah, man. Nah, bro. I've been in front of them screens too much, bro. Been in front of them screens too much, my brother. Salute, man. And look, man, the thing is, we don't really have another choice but to support Geno, bro. I mean, do we? At the end of the day, like, look, everybody's clamoring for Kenny Pickett, right? And Kenny Pickett could very well come here and play well, and everybody will be happy and stuff like that. And then that is what it is, right? But for the most part, Kenny Pickett is the guy who has not really been productive offensively, bro. They won in Pittsburgh because of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but it wasn't behind his arm. You know what I mean? Like, look, man, Kenny Pickett does not throw a lot of touchdowns, bro. He does not have a strong arm. And there'll be things that you guys will be complaining about with him, too. Shout out to my guy Mondo Ace with the $5 smacker. Hey, Wasted, thanks for all you do. Imagine paying Geno $75 million and having to baby him with short throws. We could have saved that money and stayed with AOC. But see, bro, y'all say that, right? But you're trading one thing for the next, right? See, the thing about Geno Smith is that Geno Smith has the ability to throw 30 touchdowns a year. He rolls out of bed. He has that kind of ability. Geno Smith also throws a terrific deep ball when he has the time to. Aiden O'Connell, much has been made of his arm, but Aiden O'Connell will make, I'll give you an example. All things being equal, Geno got a clean pocket. There's a deep ball down the field that's open. 7 times out of 10, Geno's going to complete it if it don't get picked off. Aiden O'Connell, not so much. Aiden O'Connell is a guy that is a system guy. He's a backup. But, and when we start talking about interceptions, like last year, I think Aiden O'Connell had 8 touchdowns and he had 4 interceptions. But what we don't talk about is how much Aiden O'Connell fumbles the football too, right? We don't talk about is how the offense really doesn't move with Aiden. Now, I think that could have been, a product of the offensive play calling last year. It was a lot of things. I mean, Aiden O'Connell got a raw deal. You know what I mean? But when we go back to his stats in 2023, he was 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 2,200 yards, 83 rating. Last year, he split time with Gardner Minshew, right? But he had 1,600 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4 picks, right? But then what we got to look at is how many times Aiden fumbled last year. Aiden, was putting the ball down and fumbling last year too. You know what I mean? And that's something that, everybody just kind of seems to forget about. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody forgets about the fact that he was fumbling the damn ball, bro. Dropping the ball. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about that. And plus, Aiden O'Connell doesn't have the ability to escape pressure, right? So when the pocket collapses, he's not going to take off and run for a first down. The play's over at that point. So you can't have a situation where, you have Aiden in there starting, bro. You know what I mean? Like last year, Aiden fumbled the football 4 times, bro. He lost 2. You know, like that's a part of it too. That is a part of it too. Salute to the almost 500 of y'all in the room. Get wasted with your brother wasted, man. Say AOC can't throw the ball down the field. But see, bro, this is the thing, bro. All last year, a lot of you guys were saying we got to get rid of Aiden O'Connell, right? We need another quarterback. We need a tank for this one. We need a tank for that one. Now we go out there, we go get Geno Smith. You know, he's learning a new offense. You know, Pete and them guys are kind of coddling him a bit, if you ask me, right? But we can see the promise there. The one thing I know about Geno is that I know he can get the ball to the people if he can stay upright and he can make proper decisions, right? But at the end of the day, man, Aiden O'Connell, Geno Smith, Gardner Minshew, you know, Jimmy Garoppolo, whomever. These guys are not franchise altering and changing quarterbacks. And I just believe that any team worth its salt in the NFL needs to strive to have that. You need to strive to have that guy that can come in like a Patrick Mahomes, bro. You should. I think everyone should be striving to have that. To have a Josh Allen, a Joe Burrow. This is what we need to be striving to have, yo. You know, a lot of people, you know, want to move the goalposts now because because it's not looking exactly what we thought. Because yo, we bought in too much. And then people say, you know, you compare Geno to Carr. Bro, look, Carr is a guy who, and I don't want to get into DC, bro, but Carr is a guy who has started his whole career. There was some good football played. There was some bad football played. Right? At the end of the day, no matter what DC did, it wasn't the timeline of when he was at his height and when the Raiders were ready to win did not line up. It just didn't line up. It didn't work. And you can't just keep trying to die on that hill. You know, you keep bringing in different coaches and different GMs and different offensive coordinators, and then everybody tries to act like stuff. Like it's not just one problem. And this has always been the thing that's annoyed me about that. Like people are like, well, you know, the Raiders did him wrong. And I'm like, well, bro, when Musgrave was here, the offense was great. Derek didn't want Musgrave. Right or wrong. He wanted his friend. I forget the kid's name. He wanted his friend as his offensive coordinator. And ever since then, that offense has gone into the toilet. People got fired, and then here we go. Here we go. But at no time, except 2016, have I ever looked at bruh and said, yo, man, he's one of the best in the league. We need to strive for greatness, bro. Strive for greatness. Like, yo, Monterey said, yo, absolutely right. You wanted Baker Mayfield and people laughed. Todd Downing. Thank you, Rudy. The Todd Downing thing, that wasn't our fault. That wasn't the organization. You wanted Todd Downing, and he was bad, and it didn't work. You got to wear that now. You said, yeah, I wanted Baker Mayfield. Everybody laughed at me. Look how Baker Mayfield looking like the damn MVP of the league now. Listen, there's a lot of things at play right now, right? But at the foundation of everything for this organization, all roads lead to a franchise quarterback. That's it. All roads lead to a franchise quarterback. That is it, right? And when I sit here, salute to my guy CGR. CGR, you not hanging around, bro? But listen, all roads lead to a franchise quarterback. And this is the thing. The people in the organization, and I saw this yesterday, and this is the reason why we talking about this. Oh, going to the Dodgers game? Have a great time, brother. Go, hey, man, for CGR, I hope that they lose and die 1,000 fiery. Now I'm playing around. Salute to the Dodgers, man. Let's go, man. Salute, yo. But yo, at the end of the day, salute to my brother Billy Davis in the place to be. When I sit up here and I start thinking about the game yesterday, right? It lends me to one, even with a win. I need a franchise quarterback, bro. I need a franchise quarterback. I do. Because at the end of the day, bro, that game yesterday was a great game for the defense. But for the offense, let me tell you something, man. The freaking offense was bailed out by that defense yesterday. They were bailed out by Devin White. They were bailed out by Max Crosby. They were bailed out by Tyree Wilson. They were bailed out yesterday, man. And it's sad that they had to be bailed out. They had to be bailed out. That's sad to me. Because guess what? I don't necessarily know if the defense is going to be able to do that with a better football team. A defense, and our defense, with some of the guys we got on that field, you don't get those kind of opportunities with playing the Kansas City Chiefs. You don't, listen, even if you play the Chiefs straight up and you play them better, right? Not only do you have the Chiefs to overcome, but you have the referees to overcome, y'all. You got the referees. Look, it's funny, man. There was some research done by UTEP, University of Texas El Paso, right? That presents evidence that the Chiefs have benefited from slanting from the officials from 2015 to 2023, a time that coincided with the rise of the NFL's most marketable franchise, bro. So there's actually a study about this, man. And I might read a little bit, right? Yo, all right. So check this. Now, this comes from the University of Texas El Paso. Salute to UTEP. But in this article's by Dave Burgee. During the past 8 or 9 years, many football fans have wondered, is the NFL favoring the Kansas City Chiefs? Why do Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs always seems to get bailed out with a penalty flag against them or another team? No, you are not being paranoid or delusional. Actually, science and research suggests you might be onto something. Research done by a team at UTEP presents evidence that the Chiefs have benefited from slanted officiating from 2015 to 2023, a time that coincided with the rise of the NFL's most marketable franchise. Published in the Journal of Financial Review, the study provides one of the clearest empirical looks at how financial pressures can influence real-time rule enforcement. Our findings suggest that the league's financial health is at stake. Rules enforcement may subtly shift to protect market appeal, Spencer said. He's a PhD and he's an assistant professor of finance at UTEP. The fact is, postseason penalties consistently favor one franchise, while similar dynasties show no such pattern. It points to the powerful role of financial incentives in shaping supposed neutral decisions. The study shows that during the playoffs, which the research team identified as the NFL's most commercially valuable period, penalties against opposing defenses of the Chiefs were significantly more as a result in first downs and other more yardage penalties. And they fall into subjective categories too, such as roughing the passer and things of that nature. So pass interference, all those different things, man. So I'm not going to read everything. But guys, when you start talking about that, and we've always said that this is an issue, and then the Chiefs are a good enough football team on their own, that's a problem, bro. So the offense can't be part of the problem this week. The offense can't be part of the problem. What I noticed yesterday from Mr. Geno Smith, and what I noticed yesterday from Jacoby Myers, and what I noticed yesterday from Mr. Stone Forsythe, and what I noticed yesterday from Mr. Dylan Parham is bad football. And guess what? They say the fish stinks from the head. And when we start talking about where this all starts, a lot of people want to point to Chip Kelly. And I know that. Now, I don't know whether or not people are getting along with Chip. I don't know this. But what I do know is, and I'm just going to say it, when you have a situation, and I started this show off talking about the separation rate that Jack Bech was getting yesterday. The fact that Jack Bech was getting 4 yards of separation from his defender, running wide the hell open on several routes, routing people up, and Geno doesn't see him, that is an effing problem. That is a problem. That is a problem. My dog Hug D's in a place, man. It's unbelievable, bro. Yo, Bech, not only did Bech get no completions yesterday, Hug D's, Bech was only targeted one time yesterday. That's criminal. He was targeted one time, bro. One time out of the 23 offensive pass plays, he was targeted once. It is incomprehensible for Jack Bech to be targeted one time and to have the same amount of targets as Alex Kappa, the same amount of targets as Ian Thomas. What part of the game is that? Now, I know we won, and I didn't want to take this off on some journey that I wasn't willing to go. But man, that is incomprehensible to me. Incomprehensible. Look, man, I know this. If the offensive coordinator is scheming things up and guys like Bech are running these routes and they've been on the field and they got enough snaps, right? And the guy's running on the field by himself. And listen, God Family Football says, stop crying. We won the game. Bech has to earn his targets. Listen, he earned his targets, bro. He's out there waving, calling for the ball. He's calling for the ball. He's the second pick that we got this year. And you're telling me that he's to earn his targets? I thought being open is how you earn a target. And that's the problem. Geno's got to clean it up this week. He's got to clean it up this week. Now, look, I'll never, ever, ever look a win and give it back. A win is a win, and it's been the same all day damn long, right? But at the end of the day, man, I got to call it how I see it. Even though this was a win yesterday, the Raiders left a lot of proverbial meat on the bones. And pause if necessary. Pause if necessary, man. Pause if effing necessary, man. Now, this week 6 matchup, man, is a little bittersweet for me because I'm in a situation where I'm like, man, you know, this could be a situation where we could be 500 right now. You know, I mean, we were back after that gut punch that we got, you know, from Indianapolis, right? You know, the offense came out, they drove for us, opened and score, but they couldn't get in the end zone. That's another issue with the Raiders that needs to stop. You know, I'm going to need the Raiders to score when they get in the end zone. You don't get a lot of chances to get in the end zone and get in the red zone in the NFL. You got to capitalize on red zone tries, man. It's ridiculous. You know, they didn't get a freaking score until there was a forced fumble that gave them the ball at the 2-yard line. And they were even making that hard. Pause. I mean, we were able to score 4 times on 2 touchdowns, but the defense forced 3 turnovers and held the Titans to 10 points on the day. They pretty much, were going into the third quarter with a goose egg. They were going into like bro, this listen, as much as you guys want to blame people, as much as people want to get into a situation where they are not bought in, the one guy you can buy into, and I gotta apologize to this guy, bro, it's Patrick Graham. Patrick Graham has been doing a hell of a job. A hell of a job. Patrick Graham has been doing a hell of a job, man. Yo, my guy, Big Al. Patrick Graham D was solid. That's a fact. And Big Al, you need to wash your mouth out with soap. What the F is wrong with you? You said his D was solid. What the F? How would you even know that? Why are we having a conversation about Patrick Graham's D? What the F is going on here? Big Al, you about to get unceremoniously blocked. That filth. This is a family show. What's wrong with you? My guy, Hug D's. Here's the thing. Geno had a bad O-line in Seattle and was dealing dimes all over the field. We got a bad O-line and dudes throwing 10 picks. What's the difference? Chips plays was the difference. That's not true, Hug D's. That's not true. You know what the difference is? It's a difference between when you throw the ball up to Dante Thornton and Jack Besh and Trey Tucker and not Jackson Smith and Jigba and Tyler Lockett in some years, and definitely DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf being your wide receiver effectively eliminates mistakes that you throw. I'm telling you right now, throwing the ball, his catch radius is a little different than a guy like Trey Tucker. That's a small guy. Throwing a DK Metcalf, that's like throwing the ball to Megatron. That's a big brother, man, that gets up there. DK Metcalf made Geno Smith look a lot better than he is. Let's just be for real here. So that's the difference, because Hug, the way I see it is this. If I can look at the all-22 and see three dudes running on the field, waving their hand wide open, and Geno don't deliver them the ball, is it Chip Kelly's offense? He's scheming people open. I get that. Geno ain't even close on most of these. I don't care if Jesus was his damn receiver. The thing about it is that Chip Kelly or is that Geno? Like, bro, I'm what I want us to stop doing in Raider Nation, and I want to go more over the game. We're kind of going all over the place, right? I want us to stop blaming every coordinator and every coach every year. When the hell are the players going to take accountability for what they put on that field? When? I mean, let's be for real, Hug. Let's be for real, everybody. Yo, when is Geno going to take responsibility for the fact that he's not seeing the whole field? When are we going to see that, yo, there were times where, yo, he could have got the ball out and checked the ball down instead of trying to, dial up a deep bomb, right? And then he throws it down the field. It gets tapped. He's unlucky. Somebody's running back the other way with it when he could have just checked it down. See, and therein lies the difference between a quarterback like him and a quarterback like DC. They're essentially the same guy, right? As far as from a hierarchy standpoint, a talent standpoint, right? But the difference is that ball security is job security. Ball security is job security. My brother Hug D said, I've come to the front of the congregation and been healed. Thanks, wasted hugs and stuff. But not like hugs, for really, though. Ball security is job security. A guy like Derek Carr will start for 8 years in the NFL because the one thing he don't do is turn the ball over. You might get pissed off that he throws the ball out of bounds on third down, right? 3rd and 8 instead of him taking a shot, right? But he understands, he knows and understands that if I take this shot, we might be in a horrible field position because they're going to intercept the ball. And now I got to try to make a tackle. They could score off of this. Let me throw it away. We'll live to fight another day. Players like Geno don't do that. That's not what they do. And that's why you get some of these interceptions. Some of these interceptions caromed off of someone's hands. Now, is the result going to be the same? Yeah. Are you probably going to lose with a quarterback that doesn't have the kind of skill to just, fit the ball in there like Patrick Mahomes, thread the needle, right? Buy himself some time, roll out, throw it downfield. You don't win with quarterbacks who throw the ball out of bounds on 3rd and 8 too. So they're essentially the same guy, right? But how are you losing? It's like, do you want to lose in a gentleman's way, or do you want to get your ass beat like we did last week against Indy? And I think that's part and parcel of the problem, bro. And listen, the lens of Shun, he goes, Geno has been this way his whole career. Never got better. It was good. Seattle would have kept him. Look, bro, and that's the truest thing ever right there. Like, you look how Sam Darnold is out there playing. But when you have a quarterback that's turning the football over at the clip that Geno Smith is, you have no chance to beat good teams in this league. It's hard enough to beat good teams in this league not making mistakes. It's hard enough to beat good defenses in this league from not being able to convert third downs. So now you take that and you add that with the fact that, yo, you're turning the ball over and giving them more chances to score. Ball security is job security, and that's what needs to be paramount going into Kansas City, right? But look, guys, I want to continue to kind of break down what happened yesterday, right? Yesterday, I noticed something. I noticed just how valuable Michael Mayer was, yo. The Raiders have been suffering without Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. They've been suffering. They've had a lot of impactful injuries this year, man. The Raiders have lost Colt Miller, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer. They lost JPJ for a game. And this is a team that doesn't have the depth to be able to overcome losing big-time blue-chip starters like this. And I know a lot of people say the Raiders have an embarrassment of riches at tight end. But let me tell you something. Michael Mayer is not a luxury. He's a necessity, man. He's a necessity on special teams. He's a necessity in situations like yesterday in the red zone. He is a necessity, man. And the Raiders missed him more on special teams. Most of the special teams miscues that have happened during this season have been when Mayer was out. Michael Mayer is a baller for us, man. And he is very, very overlooked. Very overlooked. That was a Mayer special for sure. He's been overshadowed by Brock. Yes, he has. He was even overshadowed by Brock in college. It's like the more things change, the more they stay the same, man. My guy, DeMarcus Webb. Got to disagree, slightly wasted. Carr threw a lot of interceptions later in his career. 14, the playoff year. Also had a lot of fumbles. Geno will have them, but you just can't let them snowball and kill him. But see, that's the thing. Geno got 10 in his week 6. DeMarcus, we've never seen this level of ineptitude. Most quarterbacks are going to have between 8 and 9 interceptions, even the really good ones, right? But that's over a 16 to 17 game season. If Carr had 14 and a few fumbles, that was over him taking a bunch of snaps and playing in bro, in years where, his protection wasn't the best. He was under duress all the time. He didn't have the best weapons. Of course, he's going to turn the football over. Earlier in his career, he didn't turn the ball over as much. Guess what? Because he was protected well. So the thing is that we act like, yo, Geno's at 10 interceptions is going to stay there. It's not, bro. This is early in the season. It's week 6. Shout out to my guy, Mark. Happy Monday. Good first step forward. Can't walk without a first step. And that's a fact, bro. That is a fact. That is a fact, man. and yo, Gibby is right. And I don't want to go back into the DC stuff. Y'all gotta chill. I don't want to talk about it. But what I will say to you is this, yo. And my guy Capital, shit, I missed. I'm sorry, Capital. I got on my soapbox, my brother. I'm sorry. Something I will say is that if we stop turning the ball over so damn much, we will be sitting here at 4-2 or 3-3 record. It's not rocket science. And that's the thing. Listen, y'all, ball security is job security. Ball security is job security. I'm telling you right now, yo. That is in football and in life. Ball security is job security. Salute to my guy David Zahn, bringing in debauchery as always. But listen, listen, man. Kobe 24 says, yo, you get paid to secure the ball. Listen, man, there are a lot of people in this world who get paid to secure the ball. I mean, my God, look at Kim Kardashian. See, she secured more balls than any quarterback in the National Football League. And look how much she's getting paid. I mean, God, my God. I mean, listen. All right, you guys got to stop. You guys got to stop. It's a family show. This is all Hug D's and Dave Zahn's fault. It's a family show, big homie. It's a family show. I'm going to be honest with you, man. This right here is 110% David Zahn's fault, man. I can't believe he would do this. God! Wow! 100%. Oh my God, yo. But look, man. The number one defender, the number one, the dean of ball security, Kim Kardashian. Listen, I blame it, Davis. Yo, listen, bro. Doug, I'm trying to tell you, it is always Dave, yo. It's always Dave. Solomon Mitchell, listen, it's a family show. You guys got to stop this crap. But listen, let's unpack what we saw yesterday, right? Now, it's awesome to see the Raiders win, right? But the thing with me is this, yo. I'm going to give you information and not affirmation, right? Great thing too, getting that dub. Some things kind of go by the wayside. People get a little confidence, right? Geno can get into a comfort zone before one of the biggest games of the season, right? The Chiefs are coming into a situation where Rashee Rice is coming back, and that is big for the Chiefs. They have not been able to matriculate the ball down the field. They have not been able to play at a level that they are used to playing, right? And I think the Raiders are in a situation where they definitely need to figure some things out, right? Going into next week, I saw something yesterday. I saw how many snaps that Jack Bech got. Jack Bech got 42 snaps yesterday. 42 compared to Dante Thornton getting just 2, right? Now, Jack Bech's usage turning up is a great thing, right? But it's an alarming thing because when you have a man on the field who has had the football, been on the field that much, and he gets one target, that is a problem for me. Now, I want to get into some of the stuff that went on today. Pete Carroll at the presser today. I want to play you guys a little snippet of that, if you guys don't mind. Pete Carroll had some things to say about Brock Bowers today. Salute to everybody. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. Salute to everybody, man. Wait, hold on, yo. Wait, I got to get this. Mr. Boomer Tech himself, Boomer McBoomerlin, has got to get things going here. Yeah, man. We gotta get Pete going, man. Hold on, y'all. I got y'all. Salute to my guy, Jesse Merrick.
Guarantee that he's full speed and back. So we'll see how we handle that.
This is Pete talking about Brock Bowers, everybody. Pete talking about Brock Bowers, everybody. They were pretty much saying that, Brock Bowers would be out to after the bye week. Now, this is the thing about the Brock Bowers situation, right?
I don't know that. I mean, I'm hopeful, yeah. But, we're looking after him. There's a big bye coming up and all that kind of stuff. The next week, a couple weeks you get, before you have to come back. So I can't tell you. I'm optimistic always, but that doesn't mean we're getting him back. So you look at the long haul of it, it might be best, to just guarantee that he's full speed and back. So we'll see how we handle that. I don't know that.
Now, that should have been the metric from the beginning. That should have been the metric from the beginning. They should have made sure. They should have made sure that Brock Bowers his health was paramount. Look, to me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be pissed if I hear in a couple weeks that Brock Bowers should have gotten surgery. I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be pissed because, look, man, if they shut him down, they should have just been shut him down. You get the F up out of here, Dave Zone, with your crap. Boxers over. What the F are you talking about? Yo, my guy, Hug These. The chemistry is paramount. Stack wins, learn how it feels. I hate tanking. That ain't the damn arm. Yo, bro, listen. Look, and Lawrence E., look, we're going to get back to Pete. We're going to get back to some of the stuff that was said at the presser today, but I want to address this. Lawrence E. says, hey, Wasted, when do wins cost us draft position next year? If we all agree we're not winning the trophy this year, bro, because you can't go from worst to first, bro. You have to build for the long haul. You got to build. You have to build on top of success, bro. Success begets success. Success begets success, man. You can't be in a situation where you're constantly losing and fucking picking at the top of the draft every year and think you're just going to turn it around in 1 year. No effing way, man. You got to build on top of mediocrity with success. Shout out to my guy, Lord Buddy Bear, in the place to be, man. Yeah, yo, listen, you are your habits. Hug These is absolutely right. You have to make winning a habit. You are your habits. You are your habits. You don't just go from losing all the damn time to just paradigm shifting and then you go to the suit. It doesn't happen that way, bruh. So to me, I don't give a damn, bro. I want some wins. I don't need to tank. You don't necessarily have to have one of the top picks to get one of the best players in the first round. You have to show everybody what good looks like. You got to change the mentality. Losing is like a stench you get on you. Losing is a stench, man. It's a stink you get on you, bruh. Silver and Fact says, unfortunately, success doesn't get you Drake May or Jaden Daniels unless you're willing to mortgage the future. Bro, I'm going to be honest with you. What exactly are those guys at this point, right? You know, they're very good young players, right? But if you have a first round pick and you have a draft with a bunch of quarterbacks, the stars need to align for you anyway. The stars need to align for you. Things don't just happen, right? Things don't just happen, bro. So, like, when you look at, like, say, for instance, Patrick Mahomes, right? Patrick Mahomes was a first-round pick. He was picked in the 10th. He was the 10th pick in the first round. And guess what? Kansas City wasn't a bad football team. Kansas City wasn't a bad football team. They moved up and they got him. They moved up and they got him, yo. The Chiefs had the 27th overall selection. They traded up with the Bills and they got him. They got their guy. They got their guy. Yo, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was like the last pick in the first round, but yet he's league MVP. You don't necessarily have to stink it up so bad that you're the number. You got to have a number one pick. Is all I'm saying, guys. That's all I'm saying. There's a lot of guys who are that have been stars in this league who were not taken in the first round, bro. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was there to be taken. Aaron Rodgers was there to be taken. Aaron Rodgers was there to be taken, bro. So look, bro, you got to understand something. And listen, you got to have a willing trade partner. But see, this is the thing, right? You even have a situation like with Michael Penix Jr. Atlanta moved up to take him. Most of the time, when you get out of the top 5, you have willing trade partners. So when you get teams like, say, for instance, this year, right? Say, for instance, you got Nussmeier, you got Nico, you got all of these guys, right? You have a bunch of guys that really, certain ones have not really differentiated themselves from the others, right? Right. So when you start thinking about who's going to be what, right? So when you start talking about Nico Lavamaleava, right? When you start talking about guys like that, right? You got to ask yourself, right? Where's he going to get taken? Nussmeier, Downs, all of these guys. Where these guys? There's about like 5 or 6 guys. Some of them might be first round picks. Some of them might be freaking second round picks. Right? The thing is this, yo. Which one is your guy? Your guy might not be the guy that everybody says is the number one guy. You got guys like Ty Simpson coming out, right? You got guys like Dante Moore. You got guys like, Trinidad Chambliss, Julian Sane. He's not coming out yet. Desmond Williams, the kid from USC. A lot of these guys are starting to come out now, right? So we don't know. Mendoza. We don't know if Allar's coming out. We don't know, bro. You don't have to have the first pick, man. Nico Lama Ding Dong. Get the F up out of here. Yes, they did. They moved up. They didn't move up, did they? They didn't move up. My bad. But listen, Lenore Sellers, all of these guys. You don't necessarily need to be the worst team in the league to get your guy, man. That's all I'm trying to say. That's my point, yo. But guys, let's get back into the game, yo. And they say Nico has an attitude problem. I don't know if Nico has an attitude problem. Wanting to get paid and compensated for your services is not necessarily an attitude problem. I don't think that's an attitude problem. Wanting to maximize your worth is not an attitude problem to me, right? So let's put a pin in on that. Yo, in preseason, I was like, yo, I watched this dude, and everyone was like, Geno is the second coming of Christ. Now we're all here saying, God damn it. And see, Zon, this the thing, man. You know, you are what your habits are. You know, people try to, you know, people try to be too sabermetric instead of just looking and I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. When you start talking about myself, right? I know a lot of the times when you guys hear me do content, right, and I talk about players and things like that, I trust my eyes. I trust what I'm seeing. I trust what I've seen in the past. I'm not smarter than anyone else. Well, no, yeah, I am. But at the end of the day, I trust my eyes. I trust my eyes, bro. And I know Dave, I know that. I'm just saying, this is the thing. You got to trust your eyes. And this is the point I'm making. I'm actually pimping on top of what you're saying, Dave. No, Dave, I'm pimping on top of what you're saying. You absolutely right. You got to trust your eyes. You know, and I know that we know that Geno Smith last year threw 15 picks. We knew that. But people were saying, oh, and look, I bought into it too, right? Because we want to believe. They were like, oh, well, it was because it was at the end of the game and he was throwing a Hail Mary. And that couldn't be further from the truth. He's always had a ball security problem. And now we have him now and we're surprised about it. No, we don't got to be surprised, bro. We don't got to be surprised. This is who he's been. Look, now this is the thing, right? Let's hope that, you know, this new style of football that they've been playing, you know, more of a West Coast kind of centric style, maybe more of a short passing game style, can reap dividends for the Raiders. And so Geno can kind of clean up his football. My guy Hug D's, man, with the $5 holler. I want to remind y'all, Victory Mondays is so much better than What the Fuck Mondays. Maybe we should just get branched from Detroit. I heard he might be available. Yo, did you guys see the ass whipping that was put on Juju Smith-Schuster? Oh, my God, man. He had that boy, the whole snot rocker leaking, man. Had to punch the boy in the snot locker, bro. It's crazy, yo. Oh, my God, yo. That boy, listen, man. Listen, all that little TikToking and all of that, fuck all of that, bro. I'm going to tell you what they need to do. I'm going to tell you exactly what that boy need to do. I'm going to have to go full Uncle Jerome. They need to teach a man how to squabble. Look at that boy, man. Look at that boy, man. He getting pulled around by his ears. You see this? That boy need to go take an MMA class or something instead of TikToking and hopping and skipping around on camera. That boy got smooth dragged. Y'all see that? And see, this is the thing, bro. Somebody said something on my timeline, man. I want the Raiders to get back to shit like this. I know people are going to say, look, bro, I know people, look, I got to, you know, with me sometimes, you know, I have to go on certain media outlets and I have to toe the line with certain things, right? In a sense, I really don't have to, but I choose to, right? But one thing I want the Raiders to get back to is, listen, it's either we win the game or we win the fight. We're going to win the game or we're going to win the fight. But you choose. That boy did. They need Uncle Jerry to teach a man how to squabble. This is what I want to see. I want to see a little bit of some of that, bro. Listen, either we gonna win the game or we gonna win the fight. You choose. Get back to being nasty out there, man. Hell yeah, wasted. I want mean and nasty ass team that takes zero shit. I want opponents to step on the field and to tell each other, shut up. These boys don't play. Yes. This is what I've been looking for, man. God damn, bro. But I want to see more of this, man. Salute to this, man. That was worth the suspension. It's money well spent. Money well effing spent, y'all. Salute to everybody in the chat, y'all. But look, we got more show, y'all. Get y'all questions in. We got more show. I'm a little off today. That's right. Matt Millen punching GMs and all of that. I'm a little off today, though. I'm a little off, man. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man. I am a little off, man. I really am. Been a little off for a while, man. Got a lot going on. And we got some more show. Yeah, man. Shout out to my guy Dave, man. You know what? To take your Apex. Yeah, no, I will. I will. You know what, man? I don't really want to do that. I don't want to do that. But you know what? I'm gonna. I don't normally do shit like this. I am not. I'm not the guy who see Bammy come. See, look, here you guys go. I thought I was going to make it out of a show without having to bring this shit up, right? But what I would tell you is this, yo. No, not even a little bit. That's what's look, I'm gonna be real with y'all. And I'm not gonna do this, but I have to, right? There, me and that man never even had an argument. We never had an argument. And I never said that I wasn't willing to work with anybody and none of that shit. That's not coming from this side. You know what I'm saying? But what I would tell you is this. Look, you gotta understand something. When you get men, you around each other, you speak. Now, hey, Hug, I want to give an explanation because I think I owe them that. When you around each other, bro. See, y'all gotta realize something, right? The metric for why I do what I do here is different, right? Like, I podcast, and I said this a couple of days ago. Podcast because this feeds my soul. Do I make money doing this? Yeah. But it's not the amount of money to where it really rocks my world. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't about money for me. That's not what it's about. Like, because to be real with you, I lose money when I podcast. Like, I have the kind of job where, like, there's a lot of overtime. There's a lot of, I have the opportunity to work as much as I really want to a lot of the times, right? Over the years, my daughter's tuition is like 60 something $1,000 a year. Look, you know what I'm saying? My overhead is crazy, right? So for me, this is more for me. I love doing this, right? And the thing that came out of this is I met a brother. I met a brother. I met somebody that I give a shit about. I met somebody that, you know what I'm saying, I used to talk to almost every single day. And him and I, we gonna get there. We gonna talk, bro. You know, I know how the Graf crazy as hell. I know how he is. We gonna talk. We just haven't had the chance to, and he doesn't even realize why. And when we talk, it's probably going to get squashed. So that's why I don't like getting into this shit on live. I wish we would have just spoke to each other over the phone and not done this shit between y'all. You know what I'm saying? But that, to me, we gonna talk. You know what I'm saying? Whether we pod together or not, we need to talk. But the one thing, what I would tell you is that I support him. I support everything that he got going, and I want to see him win for real. That's my man for real. Whether I don't know what he's on right now, but I got like genuine love for bruh. Genuine love for him, like real shit. Like, and to me, look, whether we don't pod or whether we don't do this or that, what needs to happen is we need to talk and we need to hang out, and I'm gonna make sure that happens. Like real shit. Like, you know, because to me, fuck all of this. You know what I'm saying? It's, to me, it's about the friendship more than anything. That's what it's about. Because for me, like I said, yeah, do I make money doing this? Yeah, but it's not the amount of money that really changes the trajectory of my family or me having to pay my bills. Like, really, a lot of times I probably shouldn't be doing this shit. I probably should be at my actual job. Like, real shit. Like on Sundays when I do that when I do that Sunday show, guys, I don't think y'all realize how much money I lose not just going to work on Sunday and working double time. Y'all really don't understand, yo. But what I need y'all to do is this. Stop bringing it up. We'll talk. We might not do the pod or whatever, but I don't even see a reason for that. But it ain't because Wasted said he didn't want to do it. None of this shit is happening because I said I didn't make no proclamation. I just didn't say nothing. So, yo, whatever's going on or whatever y'all wanted to be fixed, y'all got to ask that man, bro. But hey, Dave, look. Dave, I just saw you. Dave, you know what time it is, right? Dave, you know what time it is. Dave, you know what time it is. As far as bread and stuff like that. Dave. But bro, we not gonna be going back and forth. Yeah. You see, Dave, trust me, you like come on, bro. Dave, you know, if I'm on here and I podcast on a Sunday morning where I like, bro, I'm losing money, bro. Losing money, but it's not about that. But then you got to understand something. There are times where it's not my choice. It's not my choice whether I want to do this. Sometimes, bro, the way my life is, bro, it's not my fucking choice whether I want to be here potting. Sometimes I get forced to work. Sometimes I got to work a different shift. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, yo, I got shit going on where I can't always be available to do this. And that's the difference. That's how it is, man. And what's going on with, there's nothing going on with Mitch. Not from my end. Listen, I need y'all to understand something. I don't really know Mitch like that. I met Mitch through my man, right? And Mitch came on my show. It was dope that he did that. He didn't know me from a can of paint. I have a friend that was like, yo, my boy does Raider content. When I first started, he was like, yo, he has a Raider podcast. His name is Mitch. I'm like, all right, cool. So then, boom, they send the invite. The screen pops up behind the screen. It's Mitchell Renz. I'm like, oh shit, what's up, bro? I'm like, oh shit, what's up, Mitch? But I've never even actually met Mitch before. I don't have no problem with Mitch, bro. But y'all gotta understand something with me, bro. I'm a different kind of dude, bro. I'm an OG, bro. I'm not no old flea. I'm not an old flea. I'm an OG, bro. I don't like, you know, so some of the stuff that bro does, that's more college shit. And that's cool and respect to him. You know what I'm saying? But my daughter is in college, bro. My daughter right now is in college. homecoming week, shopping the party and do all of the shit that you do when you're in college, bro. I got another kid in high school. I don't have no time for that shit, that Britney Spears shit. I don't have no time for that, bro. Way too grown for that, bro. And this is the thing. Y'all gonna keep asking and asking and asking, and it's gonna become something where like it don't need to be, bro. Just don't listen, y'all. That us doing the show together and all of that shit, I don't really know. I gotta see what bro head is at. I gotta see what his head is at. But as far as Mitch go and all the rest of these fucking guys that do podcasting and stuff like that, I don't know these dudes. I don't know none of them, bro. Only thing I know is Hammer, Andy, Graf, and Big Mike. And I love every single one of them guys. And anything they need from me, they got it. The rest of the guys in this space, I know them either through Hammer or through Graf. I don't know a lot of these dudes. And the thing is that you gotta understand something. I don't really, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it don't matter to me. Because I'm doing this because I love it. First and foremost, I love it. I love it. Now, look, there's some people that are Raider fans. There are some people who are grifters. They you know, because people know how our fan base is. Our fan base is so passionate. You have some people who are in this shit because they think they're gonna make a whole lot of money. Right? They think they're going to make a whole lot of money and then they don't. And then they get mad at guys that are doing it. Then you got some people who really love the Raiders. That really love the Raiders. Right? And that's me. And that's Graf. We love the Raiders. Right? And sometimes you got to do your own thing, bro, because at the end of the day, bro, like I said, man, at the end of the day, this is Graf's business. It's how he feed his family, bro. You know what I'm saying? So he got to make moves differently than me. My metric is different. So, yo, it's certain times where, yo, he might get aggravated and shit like that because he's trying to, yo, I got to do this because, yo, I'm trying to build my platform because I know where I want to go. Where me, I'm a guy that's been at my job for 25 years. Like, I'm going to look back, I'm going to look up in a couple of years and I'm going to be retired from my career. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, so you got to keep the main thing the main thing. My job is the main thing. My family is the main thing to me. What I got going on with my personal, and I'm not going to get into all my shit. My houses and shit like that. I own property and shit. That's the main thing for me. You understand what I'm saying? This is something that is a cherry on top and it is something that I love. This is something that I love, man. But at the end of the day, before all of this shit, right? Yo, it's like, yo, when you start talking about all this shit, it's you know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? That's how you got to look at life. Are you guys familiar with that? What Maslow's hierarchy of need is? It's a theory of like human motivation, right? So it's, you know, at the bottom, right? It's psychological, physiological needs, right? Breathing, food, water, shelter, clothing, right? Then it's safety and security, health, employment, property, family, social ability, right? Then it's love and belonging, friendships, families, and we won't need to get into that. But when you talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? I'm right now at the bottom, at the foundation. Yo, food, family, and shelter, bro. But guys, what I want y'all to know is this, yo. This is something that I don't want to bring up no more. I don't want to bring this up no more, bro. And because it's not no real problem, bro. This is not no problem, bro. I've had real problems. This is not a problem. This ain't no real problem, and it's no real problem between me. We don't owe each other no money. We ain't do nothing fucked up to each other. It's nothing like that. It's just that, bro, sometimes, yo, you got two guys and sometimes it click. And then if you go out, right, and then you have a little falling out or whatever, bro, sometimes it come back together, sometimes it don't. But at the end of the day, what I want y'all to know is this. I'm not trying to split the audience. I'm not trying to split that. I know he's not. But at the end of the day, bro, I want to make sure that, yo, my dog getting his bread. He doing what he got to do. His platform is growing, and mine is as well. Because listen, selfishly, I definitely want my fucking platform to grow, and I want to be somebody in this shit because I like this shit. It's fun, but at the end of the day, that's not mutually exclusive, bro. Like I want to see Hammer's platform grow. I want to see Mike's platform grow, and I want to see Grass' platform grow. We got love for each other, bro. It's just that right now, for whatever reason, shit is going the way it's going. It is what it is. I'm gonna keep doing my thing though. You know what I'm saying? Either which way, I'm gonna keep doing my thing, whether it's an issue, whether it's not. But that's not the case, bro. And eventually, what's gonna wind up happening is we're gonna talk, and it's gonna be some fucking nonsense. It's just this, like for me. No, but see, bro, and Toasty Top, it's not really about for me. And I'm not saying that, because I don't want to get too much into the money aspects of this. For me, that's not the end all and be all for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the reason why, over the years, when things have gone on in this podcasting space with other podcasters, that's why I don't get into that shit. I don't get into that because, like, bro, at the end of the day, bro, what the fuck do I look like beefing with some dude or one of these little guys, man, that live halfway across the country, right? That ain't really gonna do shit. We probably not gonna run it. It's like, bro, I look like a clown. Like, bro, you gotta understand something, bro. I have fucking adult children. They can see this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm somebody's father. There's a way that you have to conduct yourself in public, bro. How the fuck am I gonna conduct myself like a clown on the internet, right? And then go look my kids and my wife in the face? You understand what I'm saying? So it's more of a responsibility. A lot of people don't understand the way you conduct yourself on the internet will carry and sustain, right? And that's the thing about us over here, right? We both men. But at the end of the day, I would have preferred if my brother would have hit me up and called me instead of having to address this shit with y'all, because it makes it weird for me. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that y'all even notice. You know what I mean? Y'all shouldn't even notice, because the thing is that it's not really a problem. It's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And listen, when it comes to all this shit, I want to make sure that when bruh come up here, we sliding around the city, we getting pizza, we hanging, we doing our thing. That's what's most important to me. All the other shit, bro, is bullshit. And addressing it on air is something that I don't agree with and I don't like. And him and I will talk, you know what I'm saying? But I don't like that shit. You know what I'm saying? So because now it puts me in a space where now I gotta do it. And that's not how I ever wanted this to go. It's best. And look, I give Honch his praise too. Honch is an amazing content creator, bro. He's a good brother. I've met him before. I've actually met Honcho before. I like Honcho. He's a good dude. All Aboard Raider and I were talking about doing something together, right? And that might happen. Him and I spoke the other day. We were supposed to link up or whatever. I mean, but to be honest with you, bro, like Honcho, I've actually met him. He's a good cat. I like him. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, bro, there'll never be another duo like Graph and Wasted. That's just stamped. There'll never ever be another one of those. And there's a lot of people out there that be like, but when it come to us, bro, there'll never be another one of those. You never know. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a straight shooter with mine, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to go out there and replace that, because to me, you can't replace that. I'm not trying to run out there and find some new running mate and shit like that, because that's my man in real life. It's just we not seeing eye to eye right now. But bro, I'm not doing that shit, bro. Nah, but Honcho the man, yo. Honcho the man. He knows what he's talking about. And he's standing on too, and it comes from a place where he know what he's talking about because he a coach. He know the Honcho is phenomenal. But yeah, man, look, I just want y'all to stop addressing that shit. If it's gonna get fixed, him and I are gonna do that shit behind the scenes. Listen, we even got Shadow Fox back out here, man. This is crazy, man. Shadow Fox is back. And y'all don't even understand how amazing that is, bro. But yeah, nah, I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. But yo, nah, we gonna fix this shit behind the scenes, bro. But listen, guys, we can't end the show like that. We cannot end the show like that. But love y'all. Love y'all. We not ending the show like that. We're gonna do a little bit more football talk. Get y'all questions in. Shadow Fox is upon us, everybody. Do y'all understand how amazing that Shadow Fox has returned from the shadow realm? Do you guys understand? Now see, my boy, Hank Schrader, man, fresh off of Breaking Bad. He goes, are we buyers or sellers? Bro, I think win, lose, or draw, the Raiders got to be sellers, man. The Raiders got to be sellers, man, because listen, man, I mean, who are you buying that's really going to help this team, yo? So you got to look at some of the guys around the league that I look at that I kind of got circled that can be people that can help the Raiders, right? That not help the Raiders, but guys that are probably going to be on the move, right? So you got Kirk Cousins, you got Russell Wilson. Alvin Kamara is a guy that they say could be on the move, but Alvin Kamara is not coming here. You know, we got Ashton Genty, and he's probably going to go to Kansas City. If not, he's going to stay right where he is. He doesn't really want to go anywhere. Breece Hall is a guy that is interesting. He's not necessarily a starting running back, but he's a guy that if you can pair him with an Ashton Genty, that'd be dope, right? Mark Andrews is not somebody that we would possibly need. Chris Olave is a guy that wants to go to a winning situation, man. You know what I'm saying? Trey Henderson is not somebody that we would see coming here. Bradley Chubb. Now, Bradley Chubb is an interesting one, right? Now, I know Bradley Chubb might want to go to more of a winning situation. Now, Bradley Chubb has not been good over the last few years, right? But if I can say anything, the Raiders need to make sure that they outfit somebody on this defense to help Max on that defensive line. Now, do you want to draft a guy like that? Do you want to go out there and get a free agent? You know what I'm saying? But look, Bradley Chubb on the Dolphins, what does that cost the Raiders, right? It doesn't really seem like likely for me. Now, the person that I could see coming to the Raiders is Tariq Woolen. Tariq Woolen is a guy that can help this secondary. You can have a veteran presence there, right? Tyler Lockett, that he has a connection to Pete, but I don't really think, trading, Jacoby Myers and moving him on and bringing Tyler Lockett in doesn't really help the Raiders, right? Right, and then David Njoku, which we're cool on him. We don't need so. A lot of the players that I see that are available is not really, where I'm at with him. And I think the Raiders are definitely going to be sellers. There's nobody that I named that I think the Raiders are going to buy. Chase Young, I just don't see that. That was an OG take. You crazy, Rudy. Salute to you. My guy, God Family Football. It's all gravy from the Navy way. So handle your business. Keep God and family first and foremost always. What's meant to be will be. We are Raider Nation, and Raider Nation is family. In the good times and in the bad, one love. Appreciate you, my guy, God Family and Football. Appreciate you, yo. But that's pretty much where it is, man. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I think the people on the Raiders team that are probably going to get moved on from, if there is a move, because there's always a lot of rumors around the trade deadline, and most stuff really never happens, right? And Minkah would be dope, right? But I don't think that Minkah is a guy that's going to be available like that. Like, he's down there in Miami. I don't know if Miami's going to be moving on from Minkah. I would love to bring Minkah in, right? But, especially with the way Isaiah Powell-Miles been playing. And getting back to the game, Isaiah Powell-Miles, bro, man, who knew that the Raiders were going to miss Lonnie Johnson as much? Isaiah Powell-Miles has been terrible, man. Terrible, man. Missing tackles, all this kind of shit, man. I mean, Lonnie Johnson Jr., listen, I have not heard much on the Lonnie Johnson Jr. front. I have not heard much. I don't know if he's trending back, coming back. But, man, who knew we were going to miss him that damn much, man? Yeah, man, hug these. I'm starting to wonder whether they really related, bro. I'm starting to think maybe they play Cousins or something like that. Because there is no Troy Polamalu in there at all, bro. And Hank Strader, Quinnen Williams, I juxtapose Quinnen Williams the same way everybody says Max Crosby around the league should be in the move. Why would the Jets trade a foundational player like that? Chef, what's the deal, man? Chef said, what's up, old man? What's going on, yo? But we need a safety big time, yo. Now, look, let's get into, we're going to get into later in the week more the KC game stuff, right? But I'm going to be honest with you, man. The Raiders definitely need to be sellers. I think Malcolm Kuntz and Jacoby Myers is right at the top of my list for picks and or some kind of an offensive line. I think one of the ways you stop the bleeding with the Raiders, man, is to try to go out there and get somebody who can help this offensive line this year. I'm telling you right now, man. Chef, what is the deal? He goes, hey, I'm going to have to watch it on Twitter more often. There's nobody in here. Yeah, man. I mean, bro, look, either which way. It's 118 on Twitter. 118. Got 300-400 something over here. We good to go. Like, bro, listen, man. This is the thing when you start talking about Kuntz, bro. We sit up here and we pine over Malcolm Kuntz as if he wasn't a guy who had one good half a season. If we're being honest here, this is who Malcolm Kuntz has been since he's been with the Raiders. We talk about Tyree Wilson, but the problem with Tyree Wilson is this is a rough spot for the Raiders to be in. If you're going to trade a guy who was the 7th pick in the draft, you want to get back at least a 3rd-round pick so you didn't get completely fleeced, and you want a player back. And Tyree Wilson is not the kind of player that warrants or exhibited that he is worth that. Because I'm telling you right now, Tyree Wilson is a guy that I can see going somewhere like the Colts or something like that and balling. And it'll be more egg on the Raiders' face. Like, I know this sounds stupid. I know this sounds selfish. I would rather Tyree Wilson rot on the Raiders bench than to get rid of him. I'm telling you right now, man. Do I see them trading Michael Mayer? No, I don't. It's no real reason to, especially with Brock Bowers being in the situation he's in. Brock Bowers might not play for the rest of the season for all we know. Pete Carroll goes up there a lot of times, and instead of him saying nothing, a lot of times he goes up there and says too much and gets way too optimistic and gets us kind of wrapped up in the fact that we think that Brock Bowers would be back. Brock Bowers might not be back this season. And to be honest with you, if he's not, I'm okay with it as long as he's healthy next year. I'm telling you right now. But right now, Michael Mayer is a key piece to this team. He's a key piece to this team. And guys, look, man, I don't want this to overshadow the fact that the return of Shadow Fox has happened once again. Salute to Shadow Fox. But Patrick Graham did what he can do with Tyree. He's just average, though. He have to heal from that first injury, and then when he got drafted, bro, I don't necessarily know if Tyree Wilson is just average, bro, because I know that he's not, from a physical standpoint, is just average. He ain't just average, bro. And we say we got to go get A.J. Brown, but A.J. Brown is one of the highest paid players at his position. You don't make moves on players like A.J. Brown unless you have, listen, if you have a young quarterback here that needs somebody to throw that football up to, you get A.J. Brown. When you have a Band-Aid at quarterback, you don't invest the kind of capital in a guy like A.J. Brown, because what you do is it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You go out there and you invest this money in A.J. Brown, and then Geno Smith is in a slump the way he is, and he's not delivering him the ball. He's not seeing them. He's throwing picks. And what happens? The Devontae Adams situation all over again. What happens? The Randy Moss situation all over again, right? And now you have cap penalties and stuff. The Raiders need to stop trying to short circuit a real build. Not a rebuild because, the foundation is crumbling now. But you have to build a strong foundation, bro. It's not rocket science. I think there's some people that are good at coming here and be like I saw Mark Davis talking to Reggie McKenzie on the sideline. Because Reggie McKenzie's with Tennessee. David Ziegler is too, right? You gotta, when you build a team, the best way to build a football team is from the inside out. From the inside out, like Bill Parcells used to always say, from the inside out. You come here first and you make the pick that's not so sexy, the Colton Miller pick, that is paying dividends for the Raiders years down the line, bro. What you do is you go draft, Gabe Jackson. You go out there in free agency instead of going and getting a big-time wide receiver. You go and you mortgage the farm and you get Donald Penn. You go and you mortgage the farm and you go out there and go get Kelechi Osemele. Whomever that is, the Raiders need to focus on that and that only, bro. Forget all of this. The first thing you got to do so that your quarterback can be successful is to make sure he's not getting the Sonic rings knocked out of him every 5 minutes. Don't make QB trades. Don't go get wide receivers. Don't do none of this shit. And listen, that is the reason why PFF is a joke. Because my eyes tell me that Meredith and Parham are not playing well. My eyes are telling me that. I don't need PFF to tell me they gave them a high grade because of, what was attributed to their ineptitude. Them passing a block off to somebody else, and then now that hurry goes to them. PFF sometimes can help with your argument and the way you see the game, but a lot of this stuff is very subjective. We know what we're seeing. We know when there's a nose tackle such as Simmons, when they come to town, it's a problem. So, guys, listen. I'm telling you right now, if the Raiders want to do anything, go out there and go and get some guys that you're going to lose at the end of the year anyway. Because if they felt compelled, and listen, right now, if I look at the way, Jacoby Myers has been playing, I'm going to be real with you. The thing that makes Jacoby Myers attractive as a player on your team is the whole package. It's that he don't drop the ball. He's dropping the ball this year. That he's a great blocker. He's not blocking great this year. Why is he not blocking great this year? Because he ain't got a contract. We talk about getting Tariq Woolen, but Tariq Woolen has been getting deep fried. What are you giving up for Tariq Woolen? Are they willing to play ball with us? I would bring Tariq Woolen in because the familiarity with Pete, but like if we're being honest, him and Pete wasn't getting it. And bro, I want the Raiders to make this situation and make their decisions based off of what's right for the team and not based off of the familiarity with the coaches and John Spytek. I could wipe my ass with that. There's some people that are on this team, like Alex Kappa, that should not be on this team because of familiarity. Familiarity means nothing to me. Genty with a decent O-line would kill a league. Yes, he would. And like right now, bro, Pete Seahawk guys are not playing well, bro. They're not. So all of that loyalty to guys that you used to coach and them having familiarity, that shit is bullshit. It's all bullshit. Go out there and go get the right guy. Like I've seen the Raiders do this. And I'm not gonna just put this on Pete. I'm not gonna just put it on Pete. I've seen Antonio Pierce do this, right? I've seen the organization go and go get Jack Jones, and he balled. That's the only time I've seen it kind of like work a little bit. But then I see this organization not go out there and pick up Baker Mayfield on the waiver wire. When you got Aiden O'Connell there. You could have got the guy who was the number one pick in the draft for nothing. Now he's about to be the MVP of the league down there. There's so many players that I see on the waiver wire that make so much sense for the Raiders to get that they just don't get. And guess what? That's a problem for me, man. That's a problem with me. The past relationship and the future of the team are two totally different things. And sometimes they don't diametrically align, bro. You guys talk about a real rebuild. This is beyond this, man. You need to rebuild and retool. Either which one. But listen, when we talk about these guys right here that are on this team as we speak, mistake-free football is the foundation of turning anything around. If you make more mistakes than the talent on your team allows, you're never going to win. And that's where it begins and ends, guys. I think the Raiders need to be a little more conservative. I think the Raiders need to be a little more aggressive on the waiver wire, outfitting this team and be, and I think they need to be more aggressive in the development of their players. J-Ro, so is it a personal thing or a scheme? Teams constantly scheme max out of games, but we can't seem to scheme the opposing team's best D lineman. It is a talent thing, bro. It's a talent thing. And it's the fact that we have a lot of guys that's on this Raider team that probably wouldn't start anywhere else in the league. Let's clock that. It's a personnel thing. 100%. Because you see these guys go other places and do absolutely nothing. There's Raiders all over this league that are languishing away on the bench that we thought were the second coming of Howie Long. It's definitely a personnel thing. But see, the thing about it is sometimes when you're outside of a situation, it's not your job on the line, right? It's easy for you to say, play the rookies, right? But we're not the ones that see how far along they are from a scheme perspective. We're not the ones that see how they are doing in the classroom. We're not the ones seeing them as opposed to the starter who's playing over them in practice. I think that it gets to a certain point in the season after the bye week, the year needs to start about being about development. But when you start talking about a rebuild, you can't rebuild unless you commit to drafting a young quarterback in a real way. You don't rebuild with somebody else's draft pick. You don't. I mean, but guys, listen, man. I love every single one of y'all. I appreciate everybody who stayed over here with me, who rocked with me tonight. This was a good show. This is a good show. But what I would tell you is this, man. We're going to keep rocking and rolling. We're going to keep having fun. We're going to have some guests on here. We're going to keep this platform rolling, bro. So stay tuned. There's a lot of great things that are popping up over here, man. Love every single one of y'all. Appreciate you guys for all of the time that you guys watch, all the supers you guys send, all of the thumbs up, everything. Love every single one of y'all, man. Salute to y'all. And remember something, yo, when it comes to all of this shit, it's deeper than rap over here, baby. When it comes to the Raiders, when it comes to all of this, it's deeper than rap. Y'all, we're going to be rocking back at you this week. Y'all have a good damn day, man. I'm out of here. And make sure y'all pull up. Y'all like this thing. Y'all share. Y'all subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And make this Wasted Talent Army continue to grow, man. I'm out of here. Peace.